Welcome to the HayQuatChat.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy. Welcome.
How about that Minecraft movie?
How about that Minecraft movie? No
uh,
transition needed. No segue or nothing.
well, we both saw it.
I
I
saw it
saw it
today, so
opening
it's
night.
super fresh for me.
Yeah, I saw it opening night, so that would be like a week or so ago. 2 weeks ago from when you're listening.
Mm-hmm.
Ish.
Ish.
So I watched it. The interesting thing is I watched it um, before any of like the hype or like I basically the only thing I had to go off of was critic reviews and trailers. So I got the chance to see it before the memes came out, before the chicken jockey riots, um before the memes and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
that's
I
that was
did
kind of
not.
a unique experience. I went into it with low expectations because I had critic reviews and just trailers, and it looked like garbage on those two things. To be
The
frank,
trailer looked super garbage.
yeah. Initial thoughts. What do you think?
My initial thoughts on it was good. I enjoyed it. I did not regret seeing it at all. I'll give my scoring like at a out of 10. I would say that it would be a 7. A 7 for me basically means that it was not amazing, but it was good still.
So my assessment and opinion is I ranked it 8 out of 10. Um, and I think to some extent that could be skewed because I went in with very low expectations and came out very pleasantly surprised. Um, Now, an 8 for me, I would say, is basically because I think it had a lot of value as far as if you were going to make a Minecraft movie, for example, the one thing you have to do, number one, is make the universe the main character. Like, you know what I mean? Like the world, the environment, like that has to be the main focus. Now, I think they fell short in actual character development in some cases as a result of that, but it's interesting anyway. That's kind of how it earned its 8 for me. I went there thinking it was going to be absolute garbage and it was going to take itself way too seriously. It did not. It played a comfortable and pleasant homage to Minecraft. Excuse me. Centralized around the universe. I think it accomplished what it needed to accomplish, and I thought it was a very fun and funny movie that I would show my kids.
Yeah. I would agree with a lot of that. Like they did a good job at like making Minecraft it's like the character of Minecraft its own thing, which was very much what they had to do that because one of my perspectives on it is that um, it comes across kind of similarly to what a YouTube video from back in the day where someone's like just doing a random Minecraft story of like my friends in
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft or like what's that one with the egg from Element Animations?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what
It
you're talking
it
about.
came across similar to that because like the world was Minecraft, but it was telling a story, but
Within
the
Minecraft.
story kind of was secondary to what was going on.
Yeah.
If that makes
So
sense. Does that make sense?
it does, kind of, kind of. I think more. I don't know. From an acting perspective, there's a couple things. So this is where it's going to get more into spoiler territory. I think. I think that was her
Yeah.
spoiler review.
Spoiler warning.
Now we can spoiler warning. Now we're going to talk about the actual movie. Um. Okay. Everybody who cares is gone. Um. I I just think like they paid. So here's the thing, right? You've got Jack Black, you got Jason Momoa, both. So Jack Black, hilarious actor, constantly like in some of the best movies of my childhood, Nacho Libre, School of Rock. Generally speaking, hilarious. Now I think Jack Black is at his best when he's not just playing Jack Black, right? I think when he played Nacho Libre, right, he's not necessarily Jack Black. He's the character of Nacho Libre, and it's a specific character that doesn't necessarily have. It's not necessarily just Jack Black, right? Like he has that ability.
Yeah.
I think. I think.
He has the freedom to do kind of what he feels like he wants to make it funny,
Yep.
but he's still reined in. And I feel like in this Minecraft movie, he isn't very well reined in. He's kind of like,
No.
have fun with it. And he does. But
Right.
it is a little detrimental to the cohesion of the story.
He needed to be. He needed to be a little more on a leash
Yeah.
as far as the acting goes. I mean, not that I think it was necessarily bad, but like Jack Black's interest in metal music should not have bled into the movie. Not that it's bad. Like I like metal music, but like that's literally just a specific trait of Jack Black.
Yeah.
Or I mean, that's an example, right?
And it did bleed into the movie.
It 100% bled into the movie. And I like, not that that's necessarily like, could you have metal in a Minecraft? Absolutely, right? But it did not. It didn't have to just be like Jack Black. You know, I don't know how else to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
He was literally just playing himself with his own interests.
Yeah, he was saying that he was Steve, but I don't feel like he believed himself that he was Steve.
Right. Well, and that's kind of the challenge, right? Because he's playing a character who's basically nothing.
Yeah, like what character traits does Steve have?
Right. Now, I think underutilized, underperformed Jason Momoa. I think he and Jack Black had amazing chemistry on a comedic level by a lot. And I think it was very underutilized in the sense that I think Jason Momoa was like too reined in. Like he had a very specific role to fill in this movie. He filled that role and did not deviate whatsoever. So much so that I think the character was not all that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you have kind of the opposite problem that Jack Black had, in my opinion.
Like they didn't give him enough freedom.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like if his personality was just to be like this rocker loser deadbeat guy, there is nothing else to that character through the whole movie. Like there's a character arc, kind of. Literally nothing else to that character though. Like I feel like they could have gave him more freedom to be hilarious, because I know he can be, because there were scenes in that movie that were hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I'm guessing like the most funny scene that you're thinking of is like when they're on the elytras.
Yeah, that was good. That
Because
was
that
definitely good.
definitely had like an improv-y feel to it, where like it felt like
Yeah,
Jason Momoa's character kind of took the control back from Jack Black, because Jack Black kind of
yeah.
ran the movie.
Oh, 100%. And I think there was a couple other instances like that. I don't remember off the top of my head now because it's been like a week since I saw the movie, but there was a couple other instances where like um, I think there could have been some other really fun opportunities to figure out like how he like jumped that gas in the end, but they showed that all off screen. Um, I feel like there was a lot of opportunity that was wasted with Jason Momoa to be actually pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, kind of bleeding into that, I I thought the character of Henry was useless.
Yes. Like
Um,
he
and,
seemed like they were implying that it was going to be kind of like a more kid story about this kid like learning about like how to be more creative or something. But then
yep.
it falls flat because his character didn't matter.
Well, not only that, but he like the whole point of Minecraft is you're in this charming kind of limited world where like you have to do quirky things to get quirky things to happen, and you have to be creative to make those things happen.
And he basically just modded the game to make
And
it do what he
he just
wanted.
did whatever he wanted. All right, like so, which I think that ruined or got rid of a lot of the charm of what could have been interesting, right? I think they could have taken that character and focused him more on like quirky redstone things instead of making things that weren't in the game at all. Like, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think that alone sucked the charm out of the rest of the kind of universe he was in. Because it's like, oh, everybody else has to play by these rules, but he doesn't.
Yeah. Because they kind of
You
give
know?
him a bit of a god complex, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. That might be like kind of aggressive wording for that, but
Well,
I
like
get what you're
he
saying.
basically doesn't like he's told by Steve that he has a super talent for this
Yeah,
world and that it should be fleshed out because he could basically like become superhero.
yeah. Oh, hold on,
But
I
then
gotta
he
pause
even
real
goes
quick.
to the real world.
Sorry about that. We're back.
Yeah, yeah. There's a little interruption. We're good. We're good. We're
Yeah. Anyway, Henry, what were you saying?
good. I was saying that uh, Henry got this whole like he could be like the greatest player of Minecraft in the world, and he's like, nah, I'm gonna go back to the real world and make these crazy inventions that in the real world.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I felt not only so. I don't really have a problem with the character. I have a problem with the story they were trying to tell with the character, I guess.
Mm.
Um, Dawn, her character, you could delete her. The movie would be exactly the same. Um,
Dawn was the neighbor chick, right?
yep, yep. With the animals in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Natalie, same thing. Um, she had zero character arc and zero character. I think honestly they spent way too much time on those three that um that it sucked away from Jason Momoa and Jack Black, honestly.
Mm-hmm. And the whole show, like they were the most developed characters out of all of them, and they kind
Hmm.
of cut them short by doing what they did.
Agreed. Now, what did you like about it?
I liked all the memeable moments because that ultimately is kind of what I ended up coming for.
Yeah.
After, because like I have a different perspective than you because I didn't watch it, or I didn't watch it before I had heard about it.
Right.
It wasn't like I didn't necessarily get spoiled, but it wasn't.
You had an idea of
I
what
had
you
an
were
idea
going
of what
into.
was going to happen, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm down, because like I'm a huge fan of Nacho Libre and um, Napoleon
Napoleon Dynamite.
Dynamite, like those kind of things.
Which same director as both of those.
Yeah,
Which is interesting because it had a very Napoleon Dynamite vibe, and that's very hard to explain unless you see the movie.
it's true.
Um,
It was also in Idaho, so it got points because I'm from Idaho.
yep. In fact, you're Chippy.
Yeah, the Chippy.
That's right.
I'm actually safe. I didn't get exploded.
No, I think it's interesting because I think they honestly spent I don't know. I'm being very critical. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie and ranked it very high.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that what they did right. So I don't. So all the Minecrafty stuff that's in game. So here's what I went into it. Being honest, I went into it knowing it was going to want to make me play Minecraft, and it did that, and it did that very well. Um, and I think they captured kind of some of those like magical moments in Minecraft that you can only get in Minecraft. Um, and they showed the appreciation. I mean, like, it was very heartwarming to see the Technoblade uh, shout out. That was great. Loved that.
I love that too. Like I saw like
Um,
YouTube shorts and stuff of that, and was like, that is amazing that they did that.
yeah, it really is. And I think they honored the Minecraft community really well, just in general with it. Um, and the nice thing is, I think that they did with it is they paid homage not only to Minecraft, the base game, but also Minecraft Legends and Dungeons as well. Because I believe we're gonna have to play Minecraft Legends and Dungeons
I
because I
have played
believe.
both of those.
Have you beat them?
I beat the story of Minecraft Dungeons. I haven't beat Legends, but Legends story basically is pretty similar to what the movie's plot is.
Yeah, so that's what I gathered. I have played Dungeons. I have not beat it, but I've never touched Legends. So I give bonus points for stuff that is within that continuity, right? So when I
Hmm.
say stuff that isn't Minecraft that bothered me, I'm talking like the potato gun, right? That Henry had, and like I don't know, are boots of swiftness in Legends or Dungeons?
They're in Dungeons.
Are they? Okay, that's what I was wondering. Um, but like the swiftness golem was like kind of lame, in my opinion. It was very like I don't know.
I did not like the Swiftness Golem at all.
Same. I think that completely took away from it. Basically was so here's my problem with Henry. It took away from the game's it frankly it robbed it of its creativity, right? Because you had Henry who could just do whatever he wanted and make the thing that would be the only thing that could beat the thing and make it super easy.
Kind of,
Was,
I think it's called like Mary Sued It, where like you have a character
yeah,
that doesn't necessarily have any growth, but is like by default like the chosen one or whatever that can do everything.
right. It's like meanwhile you've got all the other characters who are doing things like hitting them with diamond sword. I thought Steve being in like the full diamond armor at the end was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, um, but I think they missed the boat on some of that stuff that wasn't Minecraft. And I think kind of the beauty of Minecraft is its simplicity
Mm-hmm.
and its ability to make anything out of functionally nothing, right? So they gave Henry everything, and he was able to make everything out of anything he wanted.
Yeah.
I would give a pass on like the bucket nunchucks, because it's kind of similar, and it was just kind of played off as kind of a quirky thing.
Yeah, and it was like
And it's
an
Minecrafty
accident
enough.
that Jason Momoa's character did because he was just trying to like make something, and then he made basically something that was worthless.
Right. And I think that that's passable, and especially because it doesn't really detract from being really Minecrafty anyway. Like bucket nunchucks are exactly the kind of thing you would see in Minecraft. Um, just because why not, you know? But so I would give that a pass, but I don't give the Boots of Swiftness Golem a pass, and I don't give the Potato Gun a pass. Um, I don't know. Those were the things that kind of robbed it of. Those were the things that made me not want to play Minecraft when I got home, because I was like, so it's not that. So when overall, as the whole movie in general, it made me want to play Minecraft when I got home, right? Which I think was the goal. But generally speaking, in a couple instances in the movie, there were some things that took away from that feeling, and those are the things I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was disingenuous to the actual. Um, it was disingenuous to the actual
Material.
material.
I think if they had leaned into kind of modded a little, that would have been fine. But
I
since they
guess
like
not for
didn't
the
talk
first
about it at
movie.
all,
Not
I
for the first movie, is my opinion.
yeah, that's true. But do you really think that there'd be a sequel to this though? Because these kind of goofy these kind of goofy movies, like series stuffs, like they are better generally as one-offs, not like,
So let's
oh,
talk about that though.
it made enough money, so let's make a sequel
So let's talk about that though. They set this thing up for a sequel.
at the end.
Yeah.
I don't think that they did though, because at
You
the
don't think
end
so?
it was pretty like how would I describe it? They tried to wrap it up with like a happily ever after. It wasn't until like the end credit scene where it's like, is my chest still there? And it's like, oh, it's Alex.
That's what I'm saying.
And like it could lead into a sequel, but it could also just be like a, hey, we didn't forget the character Alex. She exists.
Yeah, I think they're gonna like at this point with the success of it, they're gonna do a sequel, no doubt about it. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea per se. Don't get me wrong, but I think they will do a sequel. From a financial standpoint, it doesn't make sense for them not to.
Yeah.
I will say the funniest part of the movie, in my opinion, like the best part of the movie, was the nitwit villager that got hit by the car character arc.
I think on that it was able to pay off enough for me to be okay with it. But like initially I was like, this is very strange and misplaced.
I don't know if I agree. I think the way they handled it was very the way they handled it was very subtle. And not I guess not subtle. They made it so it was like it paralleled the rest of the movie in the sense it kind of rhymed in the sense that you had characters that went to the overworld in you had characters that went from the overworld to the or not the overworld, I guess, the real world to Minecraft. and then you had characters that went from Minecraft to the overworld, and of course it was the Nitwit villager. That's kind of my, like, you had the two, I don't know, it paralleled enough, like with the two worlds kind of colliding sort of thing,
Like
that I,
there was a little bit of leakage between them.
yeah, that I thought it was relevant enough, you know?
Okay.
That's my take.
And the thing was is that the movie had a lot of like goofy stuff that wasn't necessarily in there because it made sense, but just for the sake of it being goofy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the whole thing, is like, if you don't get that, like, if you don't understand that, you're gonna hate this movie.
Yeah. It's not a serious
Like,
movie. It's not cohesive necessarily. It's kind
nope.
of doing its own thing.
The director who directed Napoleon Dynamite was the correct choice for this movie, in my opinion, in the sense that it had to be moderately confusing and also kind of about nothing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that was a good choice for a director, because you watch Napoleon Dynamite, that movie isn't about anything. Like, there's nothing significant that happens in that movie. Now, with Minecraft, though, I think he probably was given a script and was like, make this go. Which is why I think it kind of seems disjointed at times. Because I think he had to balance having an actual story that Warner Brothers said, we need a story, and his actual directing style. You know what I mean? Because this movie bounced between like 4 different directors before it was released.
Yeah, and you could kind of tell that.
Yeah.
The script seemed to have been finalized before like the final person had gotten their hands on it.
Yeah, exactly. That to say, I mean, it sounds like we're absolutely trashing. I thought it was. I want to say again, for the record, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Pull the record. Yeah, and like, I'm yeah, I'm not meaning to sound harsh on it either necessarily, because like I enjoyed it. Like, I did not regret 1 second spending the money to go watch it. Like, I didn't hate the movie. Like, I really enjoyed it. It's just not like I'm comparing it to movies that probably have like a nostalgic factor to them, because like Nacho Libre, I went to seeing that in theaters with my when I was a kid with my family and stuff, and then we were quoting it like multiple times like throughout
Oh,
the
same.
years.
That was a pivotal movie in my childhood.
And like I'm comparing it to that, but like in perspective, like I went to see it with my kids, and like we were
I did
playing
not.
some survival games before recording this, and like my daughter was quoting the Minecraft movie. It's like Flint and Steel.
Mm-hmm. Which honestly, like, if you're going into it as an adult, right, and if you're saying, and you're going to be like hypercritical about it, and say, oh well, I'm here for cinema, and
And I didn't
you've
go
missed.
into it feeling that way.
Right,
After
right,
it,
right. I'm
because
not
I
saying.
had been kind of told other like how it was kind of going to be prior.
Yeah, definitely. From an entertainment value, it was incredibly fun and enjoyable, especially if you played Minecraft. Like,
I don't I don't
like,
think someone that has no experience with Minecraft would like it.
what do you mean?
I think someone that has no idea like what Minecraft's about, I don't think they would enjoy it.
I
There's too
so
much
you're
that they
saying?
would miss. It's kind of similar to like
I
Deadpool,
agree. I agree. Yep, I agree.
because you know how like this newest Deadpool and Wolverine, like it has a I think the way to describe it's like a love letter kind of approach to it, where like
Mm-hmm.
it's celebrating like the essence of what it's trying to be.
Yeah.
And Minecraft's doing that, but it's also like in Deadpool and Wolverine, it was doing that, and I adored Deadpool and Wolverine. That was like a 9
Yeah.
or a 10 out of 10 for me.
So what's interesting you say that, right? Because the director that had the Minecraft movie before the guy that got it finally was the guy who directed Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So it's interesting that you say that because there was some level of creative influence there, and you can tell. I just blew your mind, didn't I?
Yeah. So I'm rethinking. It's like, oh, what else did I not notice that I noticed? Like a passive notice.
Well, we do know you're a clairvoyant.
A
You
little
can
bit.
tell the future. Yes.
Don't know how. That's
Yeah.
a topic for a later podcast.
Yeah. Right.
And then I'll be called
No.
crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Probably. Now, I think what's interesting is I think you're totally right. It's a love letter to Minecraft, and it's very, very thoroughly. It's so I took my dad, who you guys know as a Wandering with Wydock, his Minecraft series. I've played a lot of games with him on my channel. Huge gamer as well. Not a huge gamer, right? But dude plays games. He is one of the biggest reasons why I played games as a kid. He used to play games with us when we were kids, which is great, right? So I took him to see it with my 15-year-old sister, who also plays Minecraft. So I didn't go with my kids. My kids are kind of too little.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't have sat through it. But my dad thoroughly enjoyed it, and my sister, who is a teenager, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think, and so I only took people who play Minecraft to this movie. Like, my mom didn't care, my wife doesn't care, like, my other brother doesn't care. Like, it would not have paid off for them to have seen it. And I don't think, and I stand by, I agree with you, I don't think they would have necessarily enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But interestingly, I mean, I'd be interested to see what their perspective on it is. I kind of am excited for it to come out on whatever it's going to come out on.
Since it's WB, I would assume it would come out on like Max.
Yeah, most likely. But even still, I'm excited for it to come out on that, primarily because I would be super curious to see what like my wife thinks of it, my kids think of it. I saw it in freaking IMAX. I went all out on that.
I have a theater near me called the Big D. That's what I saw it at.
Nice.
Which is like the AMC equivalent in our area for IMAX.
Nice. Yeah, we have, so ours is a Regal Cinema, but they have like the IMAX. They have like an IMAX theater or whatever. It was comfortable. It was nice. It was good. Sound quality was good. I knew it was going to be hilarious. I knew it was going to be a meme. Just because everything Jack Black does is a meme to some extent. So it's
very memeable.
I went into it thoroughly expecting it to be kind of a dumb movie, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should have been more dumb, but I think it was the right amount of dumb.
I
you know what I mean?
think if they had done what you were suggesting, like kind of cut out some of the fluff from the other characters that didn't matter.
Yeah.
That it could have been more dumb, and it would have been better.
I agree. But that to say, kind of like we talked about in our last podcast a week or so ago, my hardcore series is like very much kind of like you said, it's a love letter to Minecraft. So I have a very fervent passion for this game, and my um my take is very much I lost my train of thought. My take is very much I appreciated the things that it didn't do Minecraft dirty, which is what I was very worried it would do. Um, I was very cautious about it because if it was a terrible movie and it didn't treat Minecraft like, so my concern was Warner Brothers was going to go in, they were going to say like, it was going to be made by a bunch of people who don't play Minecraft. It was going to be kind of people who like just don't really get it, trying to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my huge concern. And the nice thing is if you told me that the actors in that film and the director of that film didn't play Minecraft, I would be shocked.
Yeah. And I've watched some like behind the scenes stuff, and Jack Black, like, he was
But
playing.
I know Jack Black did.
He was like deep diving into Minecraft for the movie specifically because he wanted to know as much as possible before getting into it.
Well, and the thing I appreciate about Jack Black is that dude's been playing like he's a gamer. Like he has been a gamer. He had his YouTube channel. He actually was. I was a huge fan of PewDiePie's Minecraft series because it was kind of a noob coming back to Minecraft after many years. He didn't really have a lot of experience in it, which it just had the charm of like the old school Minecraft Let's Plays where nobody really knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in that aspect, and Jack Black, so I say that to say Jack Black guest starred in that series played Minecraft with PewDiePie, and it was hilarious. It was so that was one of the things where I was like, when I saw that Jack Black was going to be the actor that they got for it, I thought it was perfect initially because it's a dude who actually knows and appreciates the game.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if the rest of the actors did. Like I'd be a little shocked if Jason Momoa was like super big about it, but I would not be. I'd be surprised if you said he never played Minecraft, I guess.
Mm. I'm pretty sure Jason Momoa is a bit of a gamer. Like,
yeah,
I
think
don't know
he
what
is.
kind of gamer necessarily, but I know he is.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The two kids, they basically, like in the behind the scenes that I watched, that I remember them saying was like, oh yeah, I grew up playing this game and it was awesome to be able to be included in a officially licensed thing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But like that didn't come across in their characters because their characters weren't developed.
Well, that's the thing. There's just zero depth in their character. That was and it's challenging whenever you make a movie like this to, especially with like young actors like that. Now, what's her nuts? The chick who plays Natalie is not a unseasoned actor. She's been in a couple things and a couple pretty major roles. I'm pretty sure she was in Wednesday.
Yeah, she was the werewolf girl.
Yeah. Not an unskilled actress, but I think she did not play it with a level of a skilled actress. Now, I think Jason Momoa, intensely skilled actor, but I think it was very clear there were things he was not allowed to say and do, and I think that was a problem.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to the what we were talking about, like how do you play Steve, like what's Steve's characteristics, and they created characteristics for the character for Jason Momoa to play,
Well,
and
so
he was
the
kind of
thing about
expected to play that.
so the thing is I think he could have totally played that 100%. But when you're going in and you've got this character and I think you've got a good setup for a character, right? So you got this kind of washed up gamer of the year 1989 guy. It's a good setup, kind of a metalhead loser kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good setup, and nothing happened with that. Like literally, I guess my problem with it is that was all it ever was. From the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, there was nothing else about the character. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Because it was basically he ended up being a little bit he he behaved due to his circumstances in a way that isn't necessarily the most honest, and then
Right.
he kind of paid for it but didn't really, but then we didn't really
Right.
get to see any of that, so it was.
Right. Well, and that's kind of my fundamental. That's my problem with Jason Momoa's character is he's a very talented actor, very good, and I think this is more it's bad writing than it is bad acting. Um, and I'm harping on this point a lot for that reason is I think he had a lot more potential to make that character um, really really funny and with just a little bit of creative liberty. So I think they
Mm-hmm.
hired Jack Black, gave him all the creative liberty because he's traditionally a comedy actor, and I think they probably took Jason Momoa, who's typically a little bit more drama, action focused, and they were like, "Oh, you're just gonna be the dumb guy," you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's the problem I have there, because I think he could have made a lot more out of that character because there was nothing to the character, and it was even less limited than Steve was because he was a totally new character,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I don't know. That's my take. And I think the comedic chemistry between Jack Black and Jason Momoa should have been explored a lot more. But again, I think it successfully wrote a very good love letter to Minecraft and not just Minecraft, the Minecraft community specifically.
Mm-hmm. And
Like
we're
it
seeing that in the news because the reviews are, the critics thought it was god awful,
right.
but
Yeah, they did.
the um, like audience score, so the people that are actually paying money to go watch this, not just the people that were told to go watch it for their job, are
Yeah.
saying that it was really good.
Yeah. So I think Minecraft is, in short, my tagline is my assessment of Minecraft the movie is um, my assessment of Minecraft the movie fundamentally is you have to be able to get it, and if you do, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're not part of that community, if you don't play Minecraft, if you don't understand Minecraft, if you don't understand the community around Minecraft and like the the magnetism, I would skip it. If you do understand it, you're thoroughly going to enjoy the film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Um, I still don't know if I fully showed like what I enjoyed about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like I really enjoyed the memeability of it, like in how like now it's gonna be something like iconic for me and my children to talk about, and that they're gonna be quoting for probably a long while.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's why you cast Jack Black in a movie like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because say what you want about Jack Black in general, um, those are the kind of movies that Jack Black makes. Good, bad, or ugly. Like any movie Jack Black makes, that's what's going to become of it.
Yeah, it's just gonna kind of become this iconic-y kind of a deal.
Right. And that's where I think they went really well with casting Jack Black. Because he plays the game, he loves the game, and everything the man does is absolutely iconic.
Yeah, because
And
I honestly can't think of anything that Jack Black's been in that I didn't like adore.
mm-hmm. Same.
I haven't seen
I mean,
everything that he's been in either, so.
so one thing I will say, right? So I'm gonna go a little bit PG-13 in this, but I used to be a huge stoner. Not anymore. I work closely with the government, so I functionally can't be. Um, and it's just not
they'll get you.
right. So I used to be a huge stoner and a metalhead. Right. I was in many metal bands in my day. Um, and I will tell you that Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny is one of the most ridiculous and really stupid movies you'll ever see. Phenomenal if you're baked out of your mind. Absolutely hilarious. Now that's again PG-13. I don't recommend or think anybody should necessarily go and get baked out of their mind. Full disclosure.
Just to watch that movie? Jeez.
That movie is so freaking stupid. Like I don't know how I can emphasize it enough. But to say if it it's hilarious and it's incredibly iconic. But you have to be in a very specific demographic of people to enjoy it, I guess. But I think it's one of those. I think it's a movie people would enjoy. I don't know. I have a hard time recommending Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny, right? In the sense that
I would recommend it. I thought it was really good.
You've seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. I've never talked to somebody who wasn't uh, of a persuasion.
Of a persuasion?
Of a certain so you're a great example of somebody who's completely not in that demographic of people.
Mm-hmm.
I am in that I won't say I am in that I was in that demographic. So it made a lot more it made more sense to me. I guess I'll put it that way.
More
but
identifiable for you.
Yeah, more relatable. Not that I think Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny is the most relatable film. Iconic movie, absolutely one of the movies in history, for sure. But because it's Jack Black, it is insanely iconic. I think if it was anybody else, it couldn't have been.
No, yeah. I don't. Yeah, I could see that.
So I mean, that's the only one that I could think of that would be like, I wouldn't recommend Tenacious D to my grandmother. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only like Jack Black film that immediately comes to mind that I'm like, I would be like reluctant to hard recommend. You know?
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't recommend it, I guess, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
You're catching what I'm stepping in.
I'm
You also
smelling.
have to
I'm
be able.
smelling what you're stepping in. Dang it.
That's right. You also have to, in order to enjoy Tenacious D, you have to appreciate like the art of a really stupid movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people that I know that just straight up cannot. Like, I know plenty of people who will go and see a movie, and if it is not like masterclass cinema, they will rip it to shreds.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't want to
Like,
go to a movie with someone like that.
right. So there's the concept of like a simple and fun movie is lost on some people, and that's something that I think is really sad. But
Yeah.
and I think to some degree, as it relates to the Minecraft movie, if you're one of those people who only wants to see like movies like The Godfather and Oppenheimer and phenomenal movies, great cinema, absolute pieces of art, absolutely agree. Um, but if you're that person, you are going to think this movie is absolutely garbage.
Mm.
You have to be able, and that's kind of where I think Minecraft ties in. Is there's an element of it where you have to be able to appreciate a movie that is stupid for the sake of it being fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the point. You know, there's
I'd
not.
say like a lot of my favorite like movies that I've seen, I would classify into that category, like White Chicks, Nacho
Oh,
Libre,
100%.
Napoleon Dynamite. Like they're not my
Oh,
favorite
big fan.
movies by any means, but like they're some of
Sure.
my favorite memories from movies.
Right, because it's not a because the thing is with those kind of movies, and I think Minecraft falls into this category as well. Is you're not it's not really a movie as much as it is an experience, right? Like, and I say that sounds really like that sounds really pompous maybe, but movies, especially the kind of stuff Jack Black cranks out, they're movies that are technically not good, but you thoroughly enjoy yourself if you're willing to put down your movie critic hat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's movies that I think if Oppenheimer, for example, great movie by the way. I don't know if you've seen that. Very very good movie.
I've heard about it. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet.
Phenomenal movie. If that had an ounce of dumb stupid humor just for enjoyability's sake, that movie would be hot trash.
Yeah, and I think like how Marvel is kind of getting is similar because like Marvel's trying to take itself seriously, but then it also does some like stupid stuff, and it takes you out of it because it's like I thought this was being serious.
So there was some Marvel movies that had a charm about them to have like the witty humor. Like Iron Man was very very good for having a serious kind of drama action film with some quippy humor.
Mm-hmm.
But then they made that every single Marvel movie. And I think that's where the Marvel movie thing fell short, right? Is like a character like Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark, Iron Man, is like the only person that works for.
Yes.
Like, Thor is a dark and brooding character. Captain America is not a comedian. Like, so I guess Thor's not dark and brooding, but he. The whole point of Thor is he takes himself incredibly seriously,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not necessarily funny. Like, and that's coming from a comic perspective, right? I was a huge comic book nerd as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and I think where they fall short on Thor is they make him they functionally make him a comedian, right? So and it's that I think the point is completely missed with when you make Thor a comedian, you miss the point of Thor.
Yeah.
And I think a very talented actor like Robert Downey Jr. playing a very serious role like Iron Man Tony Stark, that works because Tony Stark as a character has trauma that uses humor to hide from pain. Like,
It makes sense for his character, yeah.
right. So the whole point of Thor is like he not so and that's the thing. Captain America does not have that trait. Thor does not have that trait. But then they give them that, and then it makes it
weird.
Yeah, or disjointed, or I mean, it could theoretically work. It's like the Hulk isn't supposed to be a comedian either. Like the Hulk is a dark psychological character.
I think he has some of the funniest lines in the first Avengers
That's
movie.
what I'm saying. Like from a comics, don't get me wrong. I love the Marvel movies, and I will die on the hill that I will still go see every Marvel movie. Like I am still 100% that guy. It's a thing that my wife and I really enjoy doing together, and we always have, even though we were teenagers together. So I will die on the hill of Marvel movies, good, bad, or ugly, right? But that, from a comic books perspective, and from an actual enjoyer of the characters, it bothers me a little bit that, like the Incredible Hulk specifically, right?
The
That
MCU
character,
did Hulk super dirty.
oh, 100%. That character is supposed to be like horrifically traumatized, and that is supposed to be a psychological roller coaster of a character.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, I don't really love Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk either.
Yeah.
I don't like Mark Ruffalo as a person. I don't like him as an actor. In general, I got in a Twitter debate with Mark Ruffalo about electric vehicles. I won't get into that, but that is on my Twitter somewhere. I have a personal reason to dislike Mark Ruffalo. I have had personally bad experiences with Mark Ruffalo, so I may be a little biased, but you got me on my Mark Ruffalo tangent.
Mm.
But I think Edward Norton, right? Edward Norton was the correct choice for Bruce Banner, as far as actor goes. Now, he's a drama queen. He's very difficult to work with, and I understand that. But in the Incredible
the
Hulk,
reason he didn't stick with it was because
he didn't have the creative control.
He wanted to make as much money as Robert Downey Jr., wasn't it?
It was something like that. Well, he wanted the creative control, right? He made everybody's lives miserable because he wanted to be in charge of where the story went.
Yeah, and that wouldn't have worked for the MCU because they were trying to make it
super wouldn't
joined. Yeah.
The problem is, though, it's like, have you ever watched Fight Club?
It's been a long time.
But you've seen it, right? That's a good piece of filmmaking, right? Like, that is a great movie. Very well acted. Even if you don't like necessarily the story or the characters or whatever, it's one of those movies that it's hard to argue is a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
Point is Edward Norton played the crazy dude with multiple personalities and trauma insanely well. That's exactly who you want playing Bruce Banner. To be comic book accurate, that is exactly the person you want playing Bruce Banner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like Mark Ruffalo is the most flat actor I've ever seen. Stick to rom-coms, buddy. You're not the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
You know? I know you're watching this, Mark.
You can't just leave me alone.
That's right. I know it's been 10 years since our Twitter debate. uh. Anyway, yeah. I love the MCU. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the Loki series on Disney Plus, for example, that was a super, super good series.
I haven't finished
That
season
was,
2 of Loki yet.
oh man, dude. I highly, highly recommend it. You want to talk about, um, quality storytelling in like a way that is true to the character and a good story arc.
Mm-hmm.
Holy smokes! Finish season 2 of Loki. Maybe we'll talk about that in the podcast later. But, and that's one of those ones where it not only was the experience, but also like it was an enjoyable, fun time to watch Loki. But also uh, it was also a good, what I would highly recommend. I don't know that necessarily like from an artistic level. No, from an artistic level, I would recommend it. I think I would. I would say that Loki was um, that was a very good piece of cinematography, very good artistic storytelling. From a storytelling perspective, you can't get much better in modern MCU than Loki. I would make the argument that you can't get much better in the MCU than Loki.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, season 1 and 2, the way it fully completes itself with the entire character of Loki within the MCU, um, it perfectly wraps up his story arc in general.
Okay.
Highly, highly recommend. And it's kind of beautiful while it does it. To be honest with you,
Like beautiful in a sad way.
hard to say. Like, yes, like it's sad, but also like it's sad but satisfying. Does that make sense? Like, it's not. It's I would say it's less sad and more maybe tragic.
Oh, okay. Well,
Um,
his character is very tragic, so that makes sense with what you were going for.
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't necessarily call it sad per se. Um, but I guess to put it broadly without spoiling it for you, he gets everything he wants, but is like in his entire character arc, he gets everything he ever wanted, but he's completely alone at the end of it.
Oh.
Like, so think from like the entire character of Loki in general within the MCU. He gets everything he ever wanted as like a person, as a character, and it is utterly unsatisfying for him. Or not necessarily unsatisfying. He has to make like deep, really tragic personal sacrifices to get it.
Okay. I think I smell what you're stepping in there.
Yeah. And that I think makes Loki utterly beautiful because it's you want to so badly um, kind of by the end of it you kind of want him to win and things to kind of work out, and it gets to a point where it just kind of can't work out in any other way other than um, him making kind of this ultimate sacrifice. He doesn't die. I'll put it that way. He doesn't die, but he sacrifices pretty much everything that he discovers that he sacrifices everything he ever loved, and um, that he has to give it all up for power, which is what he ultimately was fighting for this entire time. And that is kind of the sad part. Like, he has to save everybody, like the universe, but the only way to do it is by gaining ultimate power, but he has to give up everything he ever loved as a result.
Interesting.
So it's like, to some extent, like, it's a very satisfying conclusion for his character, in the sense that he kind of wins and fully understands what it means to be the good guy at the end of it all. But he kind of still has to. He also doesn't really win. Like, he wins on a universal scale as a hero, but he loses on a personal level.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Highly recommend, and it is kind of beautiful in that sense.
Picking the project that I'm working on for the podcast, I think might have been a mistake, because I'm getting frustrated as.
Yeah. I'm just brain dead over here, just making a cozy little house. But anyways, that's my take on Loki and the MCU in general. Didn't mean to get into all that, but
we can touch on it again when I'm ready. Maybe not on camera, but we'll see.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts on the Minecraft movie, cinematography, anything like that?
My closing thoughts on it is, if you are a big fan of Minecraft, you should go see it. I think it is a must-see for that, but that alone. I don't think that any other demographic would enjoy it. That's basically my final thoughts on it.
I think I agree. I think I'm right there with you.
I am a big Minecraft fan, so I enjoyed it. When I scale things on like the 1 to 10 thing, I don't really scale it. I don't have like an overall thing, like every bit of media I've ever consumed compared together. I do kind of rate it on what I believe it's trying to do.
Yeah.
Like, I take things all very subjective to what I believe that they're trying to do. And I think that, like, for me, a lot in the corporate world, a 5 is bad, because it means like you're kind of like on this erring towards like hating something.
Yeah.
But I consider 5 to be average. Like, if my expectations are just barely met, that's a 5 for me. It's like you did the what I believe you should have done.
Yeah.
6 is like you did slightly above average. 7 is good. I think it was good. 8 starts to get more into the like I'm really enjoying this. 9 is like, wow. And then 10 is like, I don't know how you could have done it any better.
So my take is, the reason I dropped an 8 on it, right, is because I would say that I rate it on a scale of like, yes, I take into account things that I take into account is, I guess my main criteria is, did you do the thing that you set out to do? Right? So there was a couple, so that is slightly different than what you're saying, in the sense that the way my rating system would go would be, here are the goals that this thing has to meet, and you have a lot of creative liberty to meet those goals, and you have a lot of different ways you can do that. So what a huge thing for me is, what are you trying to do with this concept, and did you do it? Um, so there's a lot of movies out there and films and so on and so forth that set out to do things and tell a story in a certain way and don't and can't, right? Um, I think, for example, you look at a movie like, trying to think. I think Detective Pikachu might be a good comparable film to that. Or to kind of what I'm getting at. I think that's a
I
movie
would
that
rate
had,
Detective Pikachu on the same, because like it was going for like a realistic approach to Pokemon, but
yeah.
in like a kid sort of way, kid friendly sort of way. Because we all
So
know, like,
here's
if or not Minecraft, if Pokemon were real, that the world would be Team Rocket Paradise.
here's what, yeah, my take is that I would rate Detective Pikachu lower on that scale because I think it tried to do more than it could. Um, so in the sense that what they set out to do, and this is kind of where I'm kind of describing my rating system still, what they set out to do was something way more ambitious than they actually could have done. Um,
Yeah.
so I think, for example, it's like to bring Pokemon to life in a realistic way, that is a lofty goal that they set up for themselves, and I think they got close, but could not meet the cigar they needed to meet for that to be satisfying.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why I would rate Detective Pikachu probably closer to like a 5 or 6. I think I enjoyed it, but I think it had a lot of problems with the goals they set and what they were able to do with those goals. Um, and that's why I would rate that lower. So on my scale, Minecraft set a very clear goal of they had to do a couple of things. So they had a couple of ambitious goals that they had a problem with. They had to make it true to and enjoyable to Minecraft fans. They had to make it. They had to make it. So they set out to be a live action Minecraft movie, which is a lofty goal. Um, and they had to make sure that couldn't be weird, and it wasn't. Um, so I look at what they set up. They obviously set it up to be some kind of comedy, which I think they did well.
They
Um,
picked the right cast for it.
yep. So I think so when I look at like the actual goals that the Minecraft movie set, the things it had to get right, I think it got everything it needed to do. It needed to get right, in the sense that it could not take itself too seriously with the cast and the live action. Those two goals boxed themselves into the fact that they could not take that film seriously. Um, and it didn't, which was great. So I think that's a lot of their goals that they set out and what they were trying to do met. Then they hire the director that did Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre. So then that adds an aspect of, okay, this movie's going to be dumb. Like, it's going to be a dumb humor kind of movie. I think they did that well, but it could have, and I would argue should have been more dumb in order for me to score it higher on that. Because I
Yeah.
don't think it reaches the same caliber as like dumb fun as Nacho Libre or Napoleon Dynamite.
Because it was still trying to hold on to the.
Right.
Yeah.
So all in all, that's where I get my 8 from. I think all the goals they set, they at least accomplished, and in most cases did well. That's my closing argument on the Minecraft movie.
Mm-hmm.
And why I would make the argument to rate it an 8 to as opposed to a 7. But I think we're using different metrics to rate it, which makes it.
Well, and everybody does, because like Your
No,
rating is your opinion.
denied. Denied. My rating is fact.
Opinion.
No.
It's worth what you pay for it.
But anyway.
But I think like everybody's own opinions on stuff, especially when it comes to something that is very subjective and artistic.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean when you're rating any kind of art in any kind of capacity, you are there is somebody that's going to have the opposite opinion of you.
Mm-hmm.
But I will fight you to the death for that 1 point on the 10 scale.
Nope, it's a 7.
Nope. Several.
Several means 7.
I rate this a several out of 10.
Good movie. Several.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got, gang.
Yep, that's basically all I have to talk about the Minecraft movie. Do you have any hopes to finish up? Just a final question on what do you hope for the next? Since we're in like this like streak of video game movie adaptations, is there a particular video game that you would like to see a movie adaptation of?
Yes, there is, actually. So my favorite game series of all time is Assassin's Creed. Good, bad, or ugly. I've been a diehard Assassin's Creed fan since my childhood. They did that movie dirty. I think that series could never be a good movie. It just can't.
Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, it just can't. Like conceptually, it cannot be a good movie. I don't think there's anything you could do to make that a good movie.
That would be so tricky because since Assassin's Creed's kind of like based on real lifey stuff.
Yeah.
Like
and that's kind of my
you
point.
could lean really heavy into like the future stuff where like you're an ancestor.
But that's the worst part of those games. That's the worst part of those games.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, but anyway, my actual take to answer your question without filibustering it. That answers the question as to why it's not Assassin's Creed. What game do I want to see? I want to see a live-action adaptation of Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Ooh. I haven't played that game, but I've like watched recaps and everything because I've heard how good it is.
I played the hell out of that game as a kid. I played the hell out of it. I 100%ed it probably 20 times.
That could be very interesting.
Yeah. Like, it would have to be like a what-if concept. Well, no,
because they already have established in Star Wars lore that there's like a canon and like Legends. So it is very much a Legends story, but they're also including storylines from Legends in canon. So like I could see how they could do it.
So the ultimate. So I'm gonna spoil this because it's a game that's like 20 years old. So
yeah, you're good.
Yeah. At the end of the game, ultimately, you choose kind of like whether or not you want to kill Darth Vader and become the Emperor's new apprentice, or, which is the non-canon ending. At the time, this was before the sequels and everything. At the time, if you chose to spare Darth Vader, what you would do is functionally become a Jedi founder of the rebellion. So it takes place in between the turning of Darth Vader and A New Hope. So it's a really good timeline because you've got a young, ambitious Darth Vader, like freshly lavaed.
Freshly lava chicken?
Yeah. Freshly lavaed, right? So at the end of the game, you choose, because the ultimate boss at the end of the game is Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And you're fighting kind of in the Emperor's throne room sort of situation. And then ultimately you beat him, right? So canonically or uncanonically, you beat him. It's a crazy, brutal fight. but ultimately you defeat Darth Vader. So then you have to make the decision at the end of whether or not you're going to kill him or spare him. So if you spare him, the story continues as it always would. The Rebel Alliance starts. You're an integral part of the Rebel or the creation of the Rebel Alliance and all of this, right? And why Jedi are involved and so on and so forth, right? Um, if you kill Darth Vader, you become like a robo-synthesized, like hyper killer, like assassin apprentice of the Emperor, basically taking Darth Vader's place. Now, the character that you are and the actor who played him was really good. And what's great about this is the actor who plays him in the game looks exactly like the guy who voices him.
Because they used mocap for it. Because
Yep.
that same actor, he's been in a lot of other video games. Like my favorite game he's been in is Days Gone.
Yep. So
You played
anyway,
Days Gone? I think
I'm
no.
not.
You oh yeah, because it's PlayStation exclusive. No, I think it
Yep.
came to computer.
Most have at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you don't know about The Force Unleashed, it is the whole premise is your character is you are the secret apprentice of Darth Vader, who is functionally a slave, and you are basically taken as a boy after you. So Darth Vader goes out on a Jedi hunt, right? Kills your father, who's like a master Jedi, one of like the few remaining ones after Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
A little, and then he has a little boy, and then that little boy gets abducted, and he's like 4, and then he is a slave. He's trained to be a slave apprentice to Darth Vader, to Darth Vader, um, until until it kind of escalates from there, and that's the setup. So I think that could be a phenomenal movie. And basically, like the reason you are so like OP on the Force level is because you have like so much pent up like anger and rage and like hatred.
Mm-hmm. Even
So
Darth
ultimately,
Vader in that series kind of does some crazy stuff too.
oh, 100%. So I think movie adaptations of video games, I would love to see that. Even if they picked the canon like canonical ending, it would be satisfying. But I think the non-canon ending is actually pretty sweet too.
Well, they've done like Legends, like short series. I think it'd be cool if they did a Legends, like a
Film,
full on movie that is
yeah.
like this is not canon, but we wanted to do this.
Problem is now is I don't trust Disney to do it. I mean, they did okay with the Mandalorian, but
Yeah, and then they had that issue with that. I don't even. I didn't dislike it, but I wasn't a fan of it. That series they did that they thought everyone was gonna like.
oh, the Acolyte.
Yeah,
I didn't even watch it. I made it through like half an episode.
I watched all of it, and like I kept thinking it was gonna do something really cool, and then it wouldn't do the thing I thought was really cool, and it opted to do something more lame. But that's the own thing. We were wrapping up
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Yeah. Beside the point, what's a movie that you want to see?
I think that a really good movie adaptation, like not a series, I think like a movie
Yeah,
would be
an actual film. Yeah.
um like a they've kind of done it similar like with Final Fantasy, but because there's been Final Fantasy movies, but like Legend of Dragoon, like it basically like the one that the name of my character in Minecraft is off of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a couple of records.
I hate
Um, but Legend of Dragoon has like a very relatable, like old school story, like basically like a lost love to a love, and then it would be hard to kind of cram it into a movie, but I think it could be done well because there is a lot of
Yeah.
fluff to the story that they could cut that doesn't necessarily benefit anyone.
Yeah, it's fair.
And
I've never
it's like one of those old RPGs that had like the 4 discs on PlayStation 1.
It's awesome. I
I
was gonna
think
say Oregon
it's
Trail or Super Amazing Wagon Adventure.
super.
I mean,
Weren't they
they
working on
made.
a an Oregon Trail?
Hey, if you want the definitive Oregon Trail cinema, it's a mini series. It's an 8-part series, right? 1883 is basically the best piece of art that you're going to see in a film capacity, film series capacity. That's going to represent the Oregon Trail for you. It is a Yellowstone spinoff, but super worth watching.
I haven't watched Yellowstone.
It's a hell of a ride. 1923 will make you cry. I guarantee it.
Mm.
It damn near made me cry, and you're more emotional than I
No, I'm not.
am. Don't say that. Um, yeah, that's good. Good stuff. Anyway, thank you for listening to the chat.
Oh boy.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.